This Big Ten College Football Preview Part 1 edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to a $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN.
Hey, this is Derek Stevens. I'm the owner of Circa Las Vegas. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
One of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
Greetings, Sean.
Greetings. It was a very serious greetings.
Well, it's a serious conference.
It is. It is one of the biggest, best college football conferences in the land. The Big Ten College Football Preview Part 1. Now we are live here on the YouTube, but behind the scenes, we've been loading up, pre-taping a bunch of college football conference previews with Colby, so that you and I can go on vacation and still keep the D-Gens loaded with a bunch of episodes, getting them ready for college football. There's been some, I can't wait for the audience to hear some of them. There are some pretty fun moments. Joining us in studio, Colby Dant, the artist known as Pablo Picasso, because of his amazing work on the slides, aka Pick Dundee. What's happening, Colby?
Good to be here talking about the Big Ten. I mean, look, I'm not the biggest not the biggest fan of the Big Ten as a with 18 teams, but
that is a little too many teams.
Well, just the fact they went out. I really think they're kind of public enemy number one for me.
Ooh.
Now, having said all of that, do I think they're the best conference last year? I do.
Part 1 has 9 teams.
Yeah, no, it's stupid.
Which is almost
very stupid.
The original Big Ten right there.
Yeah, it's very stupid. And look, I mean, the conference comes off often as smug to me, but here we are. They were great last year on the field, so you can't really knock it. You got Michigan's B team beating Alabama with their starters in the bowl game. Obviously, Ohio State with the run they had, beating everyone in the playoffs there. Oregon and Oregon was fantastic in the regular season, and then all the other stuff like Illinois, what they did with South Carolina, and just what they did in general, and in Indiana with Kurt Cignetti there.
Oh yeah, Cignetti was a great story. Didn't even mention my Penn State Nittany Lions.
Yeah,
very good season. James Franklin. I know I feel like a lot of the fans kind of hate James Franklin, but still, that was like an amazing season for Penn State.
And a lot of fans hated when you worked at Quiznos, right?
They did. They were not fans of me working at Quiznos. Oh man,
why not?
That Penn State Quiznos was wild. So they hired these hillbillies from West Virginia to move up to State College and run this Quiznos.
Who's they?
The Quiznos owners,
wow,
the ownership group.
So they said, "Go get the cleaners."
And it was like 8 of them, and they all lived in one trailer home, and they were all really into pills. And then this guy I worked with, he ran a fake ID ring and also was stealing from the register. He goes, you can just take the money. They don't count it. He's like, they're these dumb fucking hillbillies from West Virginia. I go, I steal via sandwiches, but I'm not going to actually just, he goes, the money you can just put in your pocket. No one knows. I'm like, I don't know, man.
So there's sandwich artist gypsy tribes. In West Virginia.
Yes. Yeah. And they would go from location to location, opening different Quiznos for these people. Yeah.
It's like the Amish, but instead of raising houses.
Very interesting bunch. But a lot of the stereotypes that you have about folks in the Appalachians applied to those people. They were great. And shout out to the chat. Chat is lit. And we see Degenerate Dan. Is this Penn State's to lose? We'll get to Penn State in part 2 because hilariously, the alphabetical order starts with I here in this conference. I through Northwestern is still 9 teams. And we got the odds to win the Natty up now. Illinois 16-1, Indiana 21-1, Iowa 15-1, Maryland 1,000-1, Michigan 39-1. It's kind of intriguing. Michigan State 400-1, Minnesota 650-1, Nebraska 170-1, Northwestern 1,000-1.
I was a bit confused on this.
What's confusing?
That Michigan's odds were,
there's Michigan.
but what about Iowa? Like the win totals are way off from this.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think this is generally in college football more than any other sport. Probably, you get a lot of whack-a-mole fans just blasting off. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think if we learned anything from last year, you're much like college basketball. Your win national championship price is probably not going to get any better between now and the playoff.
Well, and compared to some of the conferences that you'll hear us break down, Minnesota, their win total sits at 7.5, but they're 140-1 to win the Big Ten. So basically they're predicting them to win 8 games, but the odds of them winning the conference, they have at 140-1. That's an insanely good conference just off that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think what you're seeing is what happens when you have not that far off than the ACC, when you have some clear dominance towards the top, probably a little bit more quality than the ACC, but similar effect to the odds of winning the conference. And as many people will remind you, there's no divisions anymore in the Big Ten. So I would say you
can't even do it. You have to do 3 divisions.
The probability.
Well, and to Colby's point, like what's lame about not having this is then you have these lopsided schedules where some of these teams, like Indiana last year, had like a very favorable schedule by not having to play some of these big dogs, and we'll go through it. But there's some teams that clearly benefit from not, the way the luck goes or whatever the scheduling quirks are.
And then you get empty. Conference championships. So that was for the first time last year. You had a lot of they weren't selling out because you have teams that are you're on the verge of the playoffs. So if you're a fan, you're just gonna wait, which is why they should adapt the AAC and Mountain West model and play
home games,
a home game for the top team.
Yeah, I mean, you were saying it earlier. Why would you go to a conference championship game on a neutral site if your team is going to be hosting a playoff game the next week?
When there's really no value.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Unless they needed to win that. But in the Big Ten, if you're in the conference championship, you're going to be in regardless.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
Home games are how the universities take the power back.
Yeah.
And I would say that in an 18 team conference, it's not a crazy, like once out of 5-6 years, you're going to run into a ridiculous tiebreaker scenario, and we haven't had it yet.
Big 12
last year. That was a 4-team tiebreaker.
Yeah. I don't think that's as bad as we're going to get.
Yeah. Well, that conference isn't. It only has 16. Big 12.
And I think 18 teams. We're gonna have a weird. You almost have to have a tiebreaker.
And this didn't apply to the Big 12. In the Big 10 and probably the SEC too. If that happens, you're basically going to have. I think some teams will prefer to lose the tiebreaker, miss the championship game, and get their playoffs.
No, I think that makes sense because you get game. Yeah. No, I think if you
one last tweak they need to make, the bye is pointless because the teams were playing in the championship game last week. So you're just giving an advantage to the teams that shouldn't be getting an advantage. And yeah, I think in a conference like the Big 10 or SEC, you're going to see such scenarios where teams are going to prefer to lose the tiebreaker.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like they're going to have to change the rule to say if you win the tiebreaker, you get choice.
Do you want to play in the conference championship game? Yes or no?
Which is crazy and highlights why.
Well, that's tricky because some of the coaches' contracts say if you win a conference championship, you make a shit ton of more money.
And some people like us are betting on teams that win the conference championship and have a vested interest in it. Kramer, do you have those images I sent you?
I do.
Colby, you are not the only artist among us. We have another artist.
Ooh.
Oh, not me, but me via Jake. we have been discussing about Colby's new character, Pablo Picasso. And of course, had to get some of these worked up.
Whoa, there he is.
This one's pretty solid.
Got the gray hair in there too, since White Tiger put that on me.
What's that character in that movie with the 4 people and one of them turned into rock from space?
Oh yeah, what's the one superhero that
he was the sergeant in that crooked cop movie that took place in Silver Lake?
I think it's
Echo.
The vibe I'm
Training
getting
Day?
is
No.
the vibe I'm getting is the thing.
Shield. The Shield.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Guy who was in the Shield, who also was in superhero movie where he turned into rock in space.
Yeah,
They're
it's
making a new
Guardians
one
of
right
the
now.
Galaxy, right?
No, I just watched the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, the thing isn't he the one made of rock? That kind of looks.
People are gonna get upset with our lack of knowledge on this comic book bullshit.
I like this though. Nice.
Some of the other ones are pretty good.
I gotta hang that in the house.
This one kind of just looks like an artsy Colby. This one
looks a little bit like
this one is definitely Picasso-y.
Pre-White Tiger. I still have the. I don't have the grays there.
something about the nose.
What's up with my nose being just?
I think you were eating ass.
Well,
You're eating some ass. I hope that didn't offend anyone.
Nose so
It didn't offend me.
Rudolph the red nose rain. Oh, or maybe a little.
No, maybe he just had some sun. Maybe just a little too much sun.
I have, I've been that guy a million times too. Where,
Oh boy, this one must be big. Why did it take a second?
Now this is what I think of Picasso.
This is
very like avant-garde.
what's going on with that nose there?
If I gotta be honest,
it's Picasso, man.
Sean, this was the guy who was looking for Will Wade.
Yes.
This was the guy
Well,
looking
Colby
for
was.
Will
I
Wade.
did have an outer body experience yelling for the LSU. And if you missed it, I was saying I was at the Rose Bowl for a soccer match.
Oh wow!
And one of the teams was French, and just Colby describing the fans as a wine and cheese crowd, and just sitting at the Rose Bowl, hearing people speak French around me.
It hit you. It finally hit you. You said
Yeah,
that.
that's truly.
You said, "Damn it, my buddy Dundee knows what the fuck he's talking about."
Truly, a wine and cheese crowd. All right, Kramer.
Which one would you choose for your profile? First one.
No, bring it back again. I think the ass eating is the funniest. So
Really? So you think if you were going to
send
use
me all
one
three,
for your,
I'll switch it every day.
all right, this one? That's kind of this is. See, if
This one's interesting.
I
but
think the
it's-
first one is the most accurate to what I look like. White Tiger has,
the third one to me is the most Picasso-y.
yeah, because it's still got the nose, which is just random artsy.
this is this. You know what this looks like? This looks like your
Colby without moisturizer.
Well, what I was going to
This is
say.
like
What's
Dave-
on my face
this
over
is-
there on the right
This
side?
is day 4 in Vegas where you get super dried out. Colby not using a humidifier.
I was gonna say this is the version where you're tracking down White Tiger who got lost in a spring break incident. You're
Driving down to Tallahassee,
taking
pick up
version.
White Tiger,
White
spend
Tiger
the night in the
got
clink.
picked up in a strip club incident in Panama City. All right, we'll make sure Colby has all of these so he can.
Cannabis Capper says John Wayne Gacy vibes.
He says, but then he also says, "Got to make it a t-shirt."
Oh, yeah, Picasso, 100%.
Pick so I do like the art overlay there. It's a very inside baseball. All right, so we talked about the odds. Again, we're doing half. Sean highlighted the strangeness of the alphabet starting with I and only getting to N, and 9 teams being passed by. First up, we have we have the Fighting Illini.
Their name are the Illini. There's
And
nothing.
what do we got here? Describe this to the audio listener who's not watching on YouTube.
Well,
yet.
we like to honor Native American history. We love our Native Americans out there. So we are, the Fighting Illini had a great logo for a long time
It's a pretty
that
sweet logo.
we use. They're still referred to as the Fighting Illini, and we, unlike the rest of the world, don't want to delete the history of
No,
Native
of course
Americans.
not.
We want to
9 and-
honor it.
9-3 last year. The Joe Judge coaching tree really taking off as Brent Bielema as the program on the right path.
He says Brent Bielema.
What did I say?
You said Brent Bielema.
Brett Bielema.
Okay, did you hear that, Sean?
I did.
What did I say?
I'm the one who always gets yelled at, but
What did I say wrong?
It's a Brett Bielema. You
I
said
said Brett Bielema.
I think there
I've
was
said the same thing 3 times.
Right.
Colby's out of his
We
mind.
can check the tape.
Get the whiskey out of Colby's position. 8.5 is the win total. Plus 122 on the over. Minus 150 on the under. 36-1 is the Big Ten price. Plus 540 to make the playoff. A minus 850 to miss. Wow. 160-1 to win the national championship. This is a team I'm buying stock in this year. Now, schedule tricky. Price is adjusted and
but they
has it baked in.
19 returning starters, number 3 on the experience chart, coming off a pretty good season, 9-3. It's like, what's the case against Illinois, Colby?
I think it's probably the schedule, but like you said,
Illinois.
19 starters back, and with Luke Altmaier and another year in Barry Looney's offense there.
But they don't have to play Penn State, Oregon, or Michigan.
But it's still tricky.
But still, it is tough. But that's the Big Ten.
Well, I mean, I think if you were to look at last season, they still had a good chunk of wins that were in 1-score games. So
Isn't that this how they're going to play?
yeah, I mean that's Brett Bielema's ball.
Yeah.
You know the offensive line's going to be great. They're going to he's
Play defense.
Yeah, I mean, and then you know that but that's risky when you have a schedule with the games you have there. I mean the road spots in general. Duke's project. I think the Duke's one of the top teams in the ACC.
Yeah. So Western Illinois win at Duke. Well, that's going to be
Tricky
spot.
I mean, I kind of think Illinois is a better team, but the fact that it's at Duke.
Yeah,
makes it tricky.
That is a TM.
I don't know if you guys know this.
That is not a lit environment, Colby.
It has been, buddy. And how about this?
Come on.
You ready for this?
You're not. You're.
Are you ready for this?
Yourself.
Duke's got the best home record in the ACC over the past 3 years.
All right, that's fine. It's not a lit environment.
Then Western Michigan at home win. Then at Indiana, that's obviously going to be pretty
tricky.
Tough
I mean, people are already circling that. When I feel like you talk to the ones that really know college football, they're I can't wait for that game. But I think in general, you put the Duke game, you put the Indiana game. I think USC is going to be a lot better than people think.
USC at home, that's winnable though, but also losable. To your point, like they're not. Then at Purdue, Ohio State at home, and then the first bye. And so you get 7 games.
And I think if you're a USC fan, you're like, wait, we have to go to Champaign. Oh wait, it's in September. That's when you want to.
Yeah. I mean, they could lose. I mean, losing 2 is not
those
crazy.
are 4 tough games right there. I mean,
losing 3 is kind of realistic, and then you can't lose. If you lose 3 before the bye, you can't lose another game. Damn, this is going to be
3
tough.
They're losing?
Well, they're going to lose to Ohio State. They might lose at Indiana. At Duke's losable.
USC's losable.
USC's losable. I mean, 3 is the worst case scenario.
But
I
they're
think
catching 2.5 against Indiana. FYI.
Yeah, they're an underdog. I'm
now the backside of the schedule is fantastic.
Okay, then you have a bye at Washington.
That's tricky. That's very tricky because all these ones that go that far, I still think that's a losable game. The rest, sign me up for.
Yeah, Rutgers at home, bye, Maryland at home, at Wisconsin, Northwestern at home. So man, they could finish 4-1 worst case. Maybe 5-0.
I think I would prefer to have my season spread out a little more. Like it seems like they have.
It is just such tough. What is it? Those first 6 games.
Yeah, and even the Washington game. I think Washington's probably going to be
7 games before the bye.
Yeah.
It's just if you get 2, if you're playing the over, if you get 2 losses in that first chunk before the bye, you're like up against it. But I like him in a lot of those spots. Yeah, I'm going to lean into their experience. I'll take the over.
I love the backside of the schedule though. But
Yeah.
I'm just going to say, man, I guess you're right. But can they go? I guess what's the question here, Kramer? Can they go? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tough games by October 25th. And they got to go what? They got to go 3-2 in those 5 tough games.
I mean, I think they're going to be a much more physical team than Duke. I think Indiana will be.
I think you're sleeping on Duke's defensive line.
Indiana probably is that game is probably where the win total comes down. They probably have to win the Purdue game on the road. Maybe they can give Ohio State a fight. Washington's a decent spot. Washington coming off the Michigan game. And yeah, like you said, they can kind of run the table on the quote backside.
Hold on, let me just look one more time.
I'm going
this
over
is one of the
here.
harder ones. Hold on. So
I understand why minus 150 to the under, but
I'm gonna go under. I'm looking at last season. It's like they had 5 wins by like 1 score or less.
that's this team. That's how this team plays.
But I just feel like you live by
Built
the sword,
for the
you die
battle.
by the sword. 8-4 final record.
All
Good
right,
luck.
I'm on the over, but I'm not locking this up.
Way to be basic. Indiana. Next up, Colby's going to battle tonight.
Let's go.
He's talking shit. Can't hear. He's hearing ends.
Mm.
Indiana coming off a great year with
Perfect season.
one-time Italian American of the Week winner, Kurt Signetti. Did I get that? I didn't use my hands at all. 11-1 last year. Great season for the Hoosiers. Maybe not a basketball school anymore. Maybe a football school. 8.5 is the win total for them as well. Plus 128 to the over, minus 158 to the under. So very similar to Illinois here. 45-1 though to win the conference. 680 to make the playoff. Minus 1200 to miss. 210-1 to win the national championship. Obviously they've lost some talent, I would assume, as per this.
Yeah, but you can make
still
a case.
pretty high. Still
you
pretty
can,
high.
So Curtis Rourke, and these are the breaks. Was injured all of last season for the most part, playing with the torn ACL, going out to get Fernando Mendoza from Cal, which
Upgrade, downgrade.
Well, NFL scouts love Mendoza.
Yeah.
Me, I think he's got talent, but I just can't. I can't get this out of my mind. A couple things. He wrote a letter to Cal fans after beating Stanford, saying he loves Cal. It's the greatest place ever, and he transfers like a week later. And
did
then
they drop him the bag? Does Indiana have that much more money than Cal?
Well, yeah, especially because
I'm
Cal
sure.
had like a fucking mutiny this offseason. But another thing is, like, I see the raw skills, but Sean, he plays bitch ball, right? And
Does he do fake slides?
Like, oh God, there's a couple times where it's like you could have got the first down.
You're telling me Kurt Signetti's got a fake slider?
Well, I'm wondering if he changes that. That's why I'm thinking like maybe he's young, he's in Cal, he's dropping ass with these guys.
But then also too, just look at Signetti's record: 2 years at JMU, 8-3, 11-1. First year at Indiana, he talks a bunch of shit. He backs it up. Yeah, did they get worked in the college football playoff? Sure,
Yes.
but like
they should have been hosting that game though. That was bullshit.
But
Yeah.
who had Indiana get into the college football playoff?
I did.
Oh wow!
I'll double check that.
I did.
Did their school? Did their schedule get harder this year?
I think so.
I took them and Rutgers to get to the playoffs. Rutgers
Right.
didn't work out.
No, that's why you got to shoot your shots.
Roman Hemby is a stud get in the portal from Maryland. Also, I like the Lee Beebe get from our boy Trent Dilfer in UAB. Mix them with Kalen Black.
Is that a Don Beebe child?
No, I don't believe
Okay.
so. Because I think he's yeah.
He's a black dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Elijah Surratt is back.
Why does?
Elijah Surratt is back and Omar Cooper is back. Don Beebe, remember he did our show once.
Yeah, you're making horrible assumptions. You're gonna offend someone, Colby.
But look, I buy into Signetti knows what the hell he's doing.
It's a tough schedule.
I think he does a great job in the portal every year. He is very good at breaking down talent to me. That's why at JMU, to me, I thought he was really good at just pinpointing talent.
Yeah, my biggest issue with this team is their road conference games are tricky.
Well, but also too, like they could regress and still get over this 8.5 wins, right?
Maybe ODU to start the season.
The non-con's a fucking joke.
Yeah,
and I
look at
know
this-
Signetti had nothing to do with that. These were scheduled before that. They bought out of a Louisville game. This is the most pathetic non-con since Ohio State last year and Michigan.
Buying out of a game is the most cowardly thing.
So that means they're going to win the national championship.
Minus 23.5 against ODU.
Okay, it's a win.
Give me the points.
Kennesaw stayed at home. Indiana stayed at home.
Win.
3-0.
3-0.
I think they'll be 4-0. I think they're going to get the Illini.
Okay.
That is going to be a tricky battle there. I don't like the way that you're just willy-nilly giving this one.
Oh, I don't feel like. I mean, I would say the fact it's at home is why I feel a little bit better. But it could go either way. But I feel just a little bit better. I mean, Indiana's favored.
Give me the Illini at Iowa. Tough road spot.
That's a loss.
So you got them 4-1,
Yes, at the bye.
3-2, 4-1.
Sean, what do you got him?
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, I think 4-1 because I'd be surprised if they beat Illinois and at Iowa. That's tough.
Off the bye at Oregon.
Probably a loss.
Okay.
Probably
4-2.
Then you got Michigan State at home for homecoming.
That's a win.
UCLA
win.
That'll be an interesting game. At Maryland
Win.
Yep.
So that's a 3-game win. And then at Penn State in November.
Loss.
Probably a loss.
Yeah.
Wisconsin
Win.
bye week at Purdue.
Win.
So I got 3 or 4 losses.
Yeah, I'm like
I got 9-3.
I'm sitting right at 9-3, and I'm just gonna, as casual as it sounds, Signetti's won a lot of games. I'm gonna go over.
Yeah, and I even say like we know Penn State. I know they're loaded this year, but James Franklin still needs to prove it to me. There's been duds before. Bielema's gone in there and got a dub. Wouldn't even shock me.
I mean, Penn State with these record high expectations, I think they're going to be good.
What could go wrong?
But also Franklin is known for fucking up, some games they should win.
I'm going to call this out. They also could catch a 3-game losing streak there, and then all bets are off with the Illinois at Iowa at Oregon stretch.
But has Signetti ever lost 3 games in a row?
Yeah, I don't know that he ever has, like in his career.
Yeah, I mean it's only 3 years, but he hasn't lost.
No, but I don't think he did it at JMU. I don't think he did it at Elon.
No,
at IUPUI maybe.
But Sean started. His instincts were right. There's an element of regression that just seems to need to come with that first season.
But
I think their roster.
But both things can be true, right? They were 11-1. They regressed 2 games. They're still 9-3.
I think you can make a case. Now I know that I can't say necessarily.
I'm going to take the under.
I can't necessarily say the defensive line, but I think the offense has more big play potential this year than last year.
I also want to start tracking the playoff hangover.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
Yeah,
teams coming off the playoff. All right, so Kramer on the under, Colby and I on the over 8.5 for Indiana. And of course, head over to mybookie.ag. Use that promo code SGPN. Get your 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions do apply. And of course, you get that sweet deposit and payout using that cryptocurrency available for a ton of customers all across the world. And just look at that sweet Diego Pavia on the graphic. Shout out to mybookie.ag. Head over there, get involved, get some college football futures. The MyBookie money bag, super fun. Mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN, and you are invited out to Circa. And if you haven't been to Circa, what are you waiting for? Of course, they are doing the ultimate fantasy football giveaway. That's right. You can win a free party. That's right, for you and 11 of your friends. So if you're in a fantasy football league, everyone should go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa. If 12 people enter, you just, multiplied your chances by 12. Obviously Circa is awesome. Great place to watch games, great place to host your draft. And if you win the contest, 2 nights stay for you and 11 friends, all you got to do is give them your name and email. You get the Legacy Club welcome party, 5K bar tab at Stadium Swim. You can do a decent amount of damage with the 5K bar tab.
Nachos,
limo ride to and from the airport. They treat you like kings. I mean, they treat you great even when you don't win stuff. It is just an awesome place. And again, anytime you're over at the Circa properties, our promo code helps you out. SGP 15% off all the hotels at Circa. Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa. Contest to enter the contest ends soon, so you want to get in now. Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CIRCA.
All right. As the world turns and we continue through the Big Ten, we have, oh my goodness, that what I can only describe as a logo that you will only see on this channel, maybe Colby's channel, College Experience. Iowa Hawkeyes, this single face mask bar Hawkeye with legs. He's running upright. It's running upright.
There's nothing funnier than the old football photos of like kickers getting smashed with the single bar and the bar just like not doing anything and just breaking their nose. Those highlights are just amazing.
He's going for a stiff arm in front, not to the side. Very interesting. That helmet looks dangerously close to the beak as well. The Iowa 7.5 this year.
I just want to let you know you could find 6.5 and
whoa.
Yeah. I mean, this was the same book we were using for everything. So
the under is pretty juiced at -158.
-158. I'd imagine the 6.5 is juiced the other way.
Yes, but if you can find a flat 7, which there's probably some out there.
Colby, stop condoning these flat. You don't want to go a full year and then push.
Well, I gave this away on VSiN.
So
our loyal listeners that tune into the VSiN show, I gave this away at 6.5 in the past 7 days.
Let me guess. Colby likes the over +128 to the over.
No, he's going to be right. He's going to have him right at 7-5. Kramer, you know how he does.
36-1 to win the conference, +730 to make the playoff, -1400 to miss, 150-1 to win the national championship. Last year, Iowa's fate was doomed when Cousin Mush said, "Hey man, can I get 200 on that playoff future that you guys are taking?"
Yeah, God damn it! Why'd you let him in, Ryan? And was it did they lose? Was it last year?
They lost to the
Iowa State kicked that. What was it, like a
56-yard field goal to beat them?
And we watched at the Palazzo,
and it was so brutal because I think we were laying 2.5, so the Iowa bet was cooked either way. But then it was just that additional dagger. I mean, this is another team like Ferentz, solid head coach.
And it's year 2 of Tim Lester's offense. I clearly they were way better than Brian Ferentz's offense. And one of the things I really like is they went out and got South Dakota State starting quarterback Mark Gronowski, who's won multiple national championships.
I know that name.
That is to me a very, very big difference maker that this program has right there. He's a playmaker too. He can do things with his legs. I know they took hits. I don't really worry about the defense. I mean, we got like a 20-year data of like Phil Parker's defense being fucking incredible, even when they lose players. So I know that it's only 5 starters back. I'm not gonna panic at that. I think the offense will be better. And when I look at the schedule, I mean, look, the Cyhawks, they get Albany out the gate, but Reese Poffenberger's gone. Their head coach is gone. That's gonna be an easy win. At Iowa State, the Cyhawks always crazy, but I feel like Iowa's due. I think they've dropped 2 in a row.
Real quick, just stat since 2015. If you throw out the COVID year where he was 6-2, Ferentz has won 8 or more games since 2015. I mean, basically the last.
He's an incredible coach. They should build a statue of him. But
all right, so they split their first 2 games.
No, I think they're gonna go 2-0 because Iowa State's got to go back from Dublin. I think there's too many big games there. So
and
I got 2-0. Yeah.
They have a chip on their shoulder from that loss. I would imagine.
And Ferentz has had Matt Campbell's number historically, but Campbell's gotten 2 in a row. But
I was gonna say tides are turning.
I would.
Those games are 1 point
3
games.
in a row in that series. I think is asking a lot.
Yeah, let's be pessimistic. We'll say 1-1.
Okay, UMass at home. That's a win.
Rutgers win. Indiana win.
Yeah.
Win.
I mean, when a rank, I didn't do the homework on this, and I probably should have. When ranked teams come into Kinnick, I feel like that is like
shut it down,
a lock. And Indiana will probably be ranked there, so have fun with that. They come out of that, they go to Wisconsin. I don't think Wisconsin's that good, so I expect Iowa to win that game.
Okay,
this feels like a Penn State drops the.
Especially if they're top 5. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like Minnesota, I feel very good about that.
Minnesota
runners
at home.
Broken.
That should be good.
He's owned PJ Fleck.
Now Oregon, you at least get at home.
Oregon, welcome to the Big Ten in November when you go to Kinnick for the first time.
At USC, that's
a loss. Yeah, home to Michigan State, and
Probably
at Nebraska. I'll even throw in like Nebraska upsets them or something. Like someone upsets them that we don't see.
8-4.
Yeah.
Did I screw something? I might have miscounted.
I think it's a great schedule.
I mean,
this is a great schedule. I really think it's a great schedule because you get normally Iowa State is in week 2 after an FCS, but they've already played Farmageddon in a very heated rivalry game. I think it's a benefit to Iowa. Then you look at the home schedule. Home schedule, your 3 playoff teams from a year ago have to come into Kinnick, one of the hardest places to win. And then your road schedule out in conference, I'm saying, is at Rutgers. Okay. That's not that tough. At Wisconsin, okay, that's
Their
not that tough.
conference
They're not that
schedules-
good. Yeah,
You get the hard games at home. That's what you want. Penn State, Oregon at home.
and I think you jump on that plus 730 to make the playoffs because if they go 9-3, they're probably going to get in. Right?
I'm not this year. I'll take the over, but not messing with the playoff.
I think they're so much better at quarterback than a year ago.
Maryland, with all their fancy Under Armour money, sitting on a very embarrassing 4.5.
Loxley said he lost the locker room because of NIL.
I don't understand.
Not
how.
a good
And he
sign.
lost his job because they have a new AD and a new president, and I think this will be his final year.
Look at that turtle.
Fire logo though.
Look at that turtle.
Right out of Mario Brothers.
Turtle not having any issues with the slippery turf. Look at those long spikes. Like I was saying, 4.5 is the win total this year. Plus 128 to the over, minus 158 to the under. Wait, what did I just read? No, that's wrong. Minus 112 to the over, minus 108 to the under. 300 to 1 to win the conference. My God. I mean,
Well,
who are they going to have?
55 to
That-
1 to make the playoff and 1,000 to 1 to win the Natty.
so I was somewhat excited a year ago when they landed MJ Morris from NC State. I was surprised Morris left NC State because I thought he looked like a promising talent. But then I knew he was battling with Billy Edwards. Billy Edwards got the start in majority of those games, I feel like. And Billy Edwards left for Wisconsin, and MJ Morris, whatever they did, he left for Coastal Carolina. So they're starting a freshman, Malik Washington. I'm telling you, just everything that I feel like the vibe wise, and then when you add in a new athletic director and a new school president, I just feel like the writing is on the wall that he is fired this year.
This season's.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like Sean
You put
said,
everyone on the hot seat,
he
but I agree with
admitted
this
he
one.
lost the locker room.
Yeah.
Normally, you only admit that after you've been fired.
Also, you don't lose the locker room twice, meaning he's
No.
already lost the locker room.
I mean, just think if you're a new AD coming in, the guy's record has not been the greatest, and then you come into that, and
Fade Loxley.
the momentum of the program seems to be heading south, and how frustrating it would be if you're a Maryland fan. You look at what Cignetti did at Indiana. Cignetti was right down the road in Harrisonburg, Virginia. They could have done that. That could have been them.
Florida Atlantic, NIU, Northern Illinois, and Towson.
The non-con's a fucking
So
joke.
you got the 3-0
But
start.
I don't know though. NIU has had first off. NIU I think
Yeah,
beat them the last time they played.
They might get to 5 wins.
Took out Notre
Damn it.
Dame last year.
At Wisconsin, they'll probably lose that, but they'll
Yeah.
be 3-1 going into the bye. So if we're going to be on the under, we don't got a lot of room here.
No, and then Washington, Nebraska at UCLA. Is there's another win in there?
There is
Maybe.
I think they lose all of them.
You think they get Washington or Nebraska?
No, I don't. I think Washington and
All right,
Nebraska are a lot better.
I'll
Than
say they get one. They have 3 wins right now. No, 4 wins. I'll say. Then they have Indiana at Rutgers, at Illinois, Michigan State.
that. At Ford Field though, sneaky.
Oh, that is weird.
Oh,
so
so
that's
it's a
kind of
road
more
game.
of a Michigan home.
They're
game.
not winning one of those games. 4 wins under.
I'm on the under too. He's fired. He's lucky the bye week spread out when they do because they're not going to fire
But also,
him
they
on
could
October 25th.
they could fumble one of those early guaranteed wins.
Yeah,
Northern
like
Illinois.
Northern
game.
Illinois?
they beat
That
Notre
would be
Dame
fun
last
on the
year.
money line.
Yeah.
Well, and yeah, Maryland's not as good as Notre Dame. So
No. All
I
right.
think they're live to lose one of those 3.
Oh, look at this Michigan logo.
Wolverines.
Wild. That is a fierce looking Wolverine. 9.5 on the win total this year, plus 136 to the over, minus 168 to the under, 10 to 1 to win the conference, plus 210 to make the playoff, minus 265 to miss, 39 to 1 to win the national championship.
Colby, are they going to be converting to the triple option?
They should, but they brought in 5-star Bryce Underwood.
Yeah.
Um,
What do we think about him?
Larry Ellison did.
They also brought in Mikey Keene from Fresno State. They still
Real
have
quick
Davis
pause.
Warren.
I love that Larry Ellison, billionaire, owner of Oracle and a bunch of other shit,
Went to Illinois.
went to Illinois, and it's just his lady friend is just like, buy me quarterback. Done.
Sure.
We're Illinois. Bielema's
That's
got to be like,
awesome.
what the fuck's going on, dude?
Bielema
fuck's
doesn't
going
give
on?
a shit about
Yeah.
that. He's not worried about
You're
that.
like, Larry, who? Look, I'm a little concerned. Let me explain. Davis Warren started the games last year, or a few games last year. They go out and get Underwood. They pay a bunch of money for him. Top recruit in the nation. They then bring in Mikey Keene, who I actually think is decent. Fresno State's QB. But since then, they also brought in Jake Garcia from ECU, our backup.
They worried about.
Well, that's what's weird. It's like, why? If I'm reading the tea leaves, I'm like, wait, that means they're not sound on. And they brought Garcia in like a week ago, so I don't know about
Bryce
this.
Isn't ready.
I know they got my guy Biff Poggi back. All right, on the offensive line, assistant head coach, I think too. The defense took major fucking hits. I think they're still going to be good, but when you lose Mason Graham and everybody,
they
like
had eight guys drafted right on the defensive
Yeah.
side.
Wasn't just Mason Graham and his running mate.
Now,
I'm
to be
blanking on his name.
fair, those backups beat Alabama last year.
Kenneth Grant.
Yeah.
But I mean, the thing is, you got to improve 3 games from last year. They were only 7-5. Maybe the offense will be a little bit better at quarterback, but can you project the defense to be better? That to me is like a huge ask.
Well, and I also
I'm not even like
schedule.
I'm not even anti-Michigan.
I don't care how good
per
they
se,
are,
but
unless you're telling me they have 2 first-round defensive tackles or defensive linemen, it probably isn't going to be the exact same thing.
yeah.
Also, just the margin of error, considering the quarterback situation is a little bit in flux. That feels like the classic Michigan problem. New Mexico at that Oklahoma game.
They're losing that game
To start the season is
I mean, my only thing is this: if you're starting one of the veteran quarterbacks, okay, maybe you win. You're gonna start a freshman and go into Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. Good luck.
I don't love
Dick Puncher is a Michigan guy, and he's making the case saying we had the 3 worst quarterbacks in modern Michigan history, and we still beat Bama and Ohio State.
Fair.
They were really
but
bad.
your defense took major hits. That awesome defense.
You can't rely on that defense. Like
I still think it will be good. It's just I expect it to drop off a little bit.
All right. So after those first 4, where maybe they drop a game.
Okay. In Central Michigan,
First 4
at
They should
Nebraska.
be
I think they could drop 2 of those.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
at Nebraska,
like those are very hostile environments for a freshman quarterback. That's why I need to know what's going on with that. Like if you're just thinking you're just going to go on the road to these places are super fucking hard places to win, man. This is going to be chaotic. Nothing in high school can simulate that.
No, not even close. Off the bye week, you have Wisconsin homecoming at USC, Washington at home, at Michigan State. Little rivalry action there.
I mean,
and then Purdue. A very easy stretch of games.
The first 4 road games are fucking pretty massive.
at USC, that's relatively tough.
Yes, I mean, and going cross country to take on Lincoln Riley's bunch that plays. I mean, USC should have beat you in Ann Arbor last year.
Yeah, any of these Big Ten teams on the West Coast.
And then Michigan State was a rivalry game. That was a close game a season ago, man. That was not like. I think that's a very tall order for a freshman quarterback. Now, I'm not saying they're going to lose all 4, but I definitely don't feel very good about.
I think going into the second bye week, they probably have 2 losses, maybe 3.
Yeah,
so you don't have a ton of wiggle room.
At Northwestern, at Maryland, Ohio State.
Man, they own Ohio State.
But
so when home games could they lose? Just Washington and Ohio State, right? Those are the only potential losses, right?
Yes. I mean, I would say that the back-to-back road spot before Ohio State is treacherous. And so, there's probably a game to be lost in the early part of the season. There's a game to be lost in the middle part of the season, and there's a game to be lost at the end of the season.
And Northwestern's not at the lake; it's at Wrigley, which will be an all Michigan crowd.
Baseball field.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah, I think there's in each section of their schedule, there's a game to be lost. So I'll take the under.
I'm gonna say 9-3 as well. I just feel like you're asking a freshman quarterback to win in some of the most lethal environments you can do.
I've seen this before.
Yeah,
Michigan's not.
9-3.
Michigan will find a way. Also, the worst possible thing happened the best and worst thing happened to them last year with Ohio State going on that run. Ohio State won the national championship, but also they're stuck with Ryan Day for a little bit now.
So you're under 9.5, Colby?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
I am too.
Yeah, fuck Michigan.
Where's that coming from?
Yeah, that's really harsh. Jeez.
They're a little annoying, but
they're like a private public school.
9-3, best case scenario.
Michigan State. Look at this group. Look at this Spartan. That's a strange looking Spartan. What's he looking at? What is going on down low that he's glaring in that
Probably
direction?
the amount of interceptions Aiden Childs threw last year.
Also, why do you think they put a brush on the top of the Roman helmet? Still don't really understand that stylistically. Michigan State, another. I mean, has there been a bigger failure considering the investment in college football in the Power Five?
And Mel Tucker, you're saying, or
just the program? 5.5.
I mean, he's in year one. I didn't think he was as impressive as he could have been, but it was year one.
We're on a little bit of a run now where Michigan State looking to consistently underproduce considering how much they're putting in.
Well, this year they got dealt a ridiculous schedule, which we'll
5.5. Yeah. -144 to the over, +118 to the under, 110 to 1 to win the conference, 18 to 1 to make the playoff, 400 to 1 to win the championship.
Yeah. 14 returning starters, but they have 5 Big Ten road games. Defense should be a little better.
We like the coach, but yeah, situation's tough, and maybe the program's broken or cursed.
Well, I mean, the coach also, I wonder about the fit. He's been a Pacific Northwest guy his whole life. But let's get to it. If Aiden Childs takes a step forward and limits the turnovers, I think you could have a really good season from him. But the schedule's fucking insane. So the non-con is tougher than the other ones, just because
they could lose the opening game.
Just because Western Michigan and Boston College are bowl teams. Youngstown State will be a win, but I think they're going to be 3-0, maybe 3-0.
So Western Michigan, Boston College, Youngstown State, all home games to start, and then a road trip to the Coliseum.
That's a loss
against the Trojans.
It's a loss.
I mean, there is a second. Yeah. You can lose one of those first 2 games if you're not
they
ready.
They could lose to Boston College.
They could if they're not ready. I mean, sure. But I kind of think you have to favor Michigan State.
Yeah, 1 or 2 losses.
But this next window is not easy.
At Nebraska,
loss.
Yeah,
UCLA at home for homecoming.
I'll give a win there.
At Indiana,
loss.
I don't know about
Michigan comes to town.
Loss.
Rivalry game,
maybe.
Loss
at Minnesota. That's a winnable game, even though it's on the road. Michigan State not very good, but Minnesota won't be very good either. So there's 3 more wins there.
Yeah, there's. What's your 3 wins?
UCLA, Michigan, Minnesota. Being optimistic.
Whoa! Wait, they're winning UCLA, Michigan, and Minnesota.
All right, so 2 there.
No,
so that's 4 wins.
And also, I feel like
Yeah.
all the other episodes we've done where we have Michigan State,
they're a loss.
We're like, oh well, they'll beat Michigan State. So I feel like I got to be true to some of that. Then you have a Penn State at home, at Iowa, Maryland at home. Sure,
that's not even home. It's at Ford Field, but I still think they'll get that.
Are there 6 wins here then?
No, there's like 3 guaranteed wins, and
they have to pull an upset to get there.
They're 9-point home dogs against Michigan.
Yeah, at USC.
You know what? I trust Jonathan Smith will get an upset. Give me 6-6 on the over, but that's definitely don't bet this.
Are you sure?
I'm going under. You're getting plus money right now on the under 5.5.
I just think he's a really good football coach, so I think he'll figure out one.
I think this is a cursed program right now.
I'm with
under.
Kramer. Michigan
Under.
State. It's not been the same. Midnight Mel.
Mel Tucker did something to this program. All right, Minnesota. I keep saying they're rudderless, but their win total 7.5, a half win more than they got last year. Plus 130 to the over.
One of my locks last.
Minus 155 to the under. 140 to 1 to win the conference. 14 to 1 to make the playoff, and that can't be right, is it? 650 to 1 to win the national championship.
Slide. I think the big question is it going to be Emmett Moorhead? Is it going to be Drake Lindsay at the quarterback spot? They have a new defensive coordinator too, and Danny Collins. So there's some question marks there, but at this point, I feel like we know what this team is going to be. They're going to be a good football team. They're not going to beat themselves up.
Play a little defense.
Darius Taylor's a good running back. They'll focus heavily on that. And you can kind of trust that PJ Fleck will have this team humming, and they're capable of an upset. They almost knocked off Penn State last year. Probably should have. So yeah, 7.5 makes a lot of sense to me. Let's dive into that schedule.
Well, another one that they
sneaky game out the gate though.
Buffalo. Well, we were I was high on them. I might have been the highest on them, but
yeah, I got them 3-0 at the
Northwestern.
What are they doing at quarterback, Colby? They lost Max Brosmer.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Emmett Moorhead's a guy that started some at Boston College, and then they got the freshman that we were just talking about with Lindsey, redshirt freshman. I'm assuming it's going to be one of those two. But Brosmer was a guy they brought in from New Hampshire. He was only there 1 year, so they always do the rent a quarterback thing often. So,
PJ Fleck's another guy. It's tough to fade.
Yeah, I think they'll be 3-0 after the. I mean, they could lose.
They
could lose
going
at
to Cal.
Buffalo Bulls at home, Northwestern State at home, probably 2-0 at Cal.
I think on the Cal preview, I gave that one as a loss to Minnesota. I mean, I don't think it's a.
It's not a sure thing.
I don't think it's a sure thing, but I thought Minnesota was just a little bit better.
But now this next batch, all right, Rutgers at home.
I think that's a win.
I do like Rutgers.
Well,
they always
losing that. That's gonna be a rock fight.
Yeah, at Ohio State, that's a loss.
That is a loss.
Purdue at home should win that. Nebraska at home,
tricky.
Kind of depends on how high you are on Nebraska.
Yeah, I'll even say loss.
Winnable.
At Iowa,
that is on a Friday night.
Yeah, at Iowa though, that's definitely a
loss.
loss. Michigan State at home,
that's a win.
Worth pointing out, going back a couple weeks, the Ohio State game. For Ohio State, it is a home game nestled in the stretch of at Washington, Minnesota, at Fighting Illini, at Wisconsin. It doesn't change my opinion, but wanted to call it out. Yeah, I mean,
at Oregon after the bye, that's a loss, and then at Northwestern and home against Northwestern at Wrigley. And then home to Wisconsin. I think they win those final two. So wait, I'm at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You had
7.
them getting.
I'm at 8. I'm at 8. I don't feel amazing about it, but I'm at 8.
Well, that middle stretch, they're going to pick up a bunch of wins.
Yeah, no, that's a sweet spot, and it's just like their losses are very obvious, and then they have a ton of 50-50 games.
8-4, 7-5.
I'm going under. I think just under. I'm not completely fading them, but there's just too many 50-50 games.
Yeah, give me the under.
Colby's on the over 7.5. I'm on the under. Kramer's on the under 7.5 for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Speaking of under animals, what about Underdog? If you haven't signed up with Underdog Fantasy yet, what are you waiting for? Love the Best Ball Mania drafts, 15 million. It's the only way I'm playing fantasy this year. Only. Ryan, do not let us get sucked into managed leagues.
I'm out.
Because they're annoying. You got to like deal with trade requests, the waiver wire. Waiver wire is just dumb.
Fucking games in Europe.
Yeah. Well,
or Sao Paulo or some shit. What are they doing this year?
You don't want to have to wake up at 5 a.m. to set your lineups for the London
Bangladesh
game.
Kickoff.
Underdog's great. You just draft the team. That's all you have to do, and you got a chance to win $15 million in prizes, $2 million at first. Now, if you deposit using our promo code SGPN, you can get up to $1,000 in bonus cash, which means 40 free entries at Underdog Fantasy Best Ball Mania. It is the only way to play. And I'll double check the Bangladesh schedule, but underdogfantasy.com, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm is your home for AI backed picks and props. If you're getting serious about gambling, you want to build your own model. It's super easy to do over on Rhythm. You just adjust the slider. It back tests what you put in, and then it predicts the future for you using that model. And it's great. If you don't want to even mess around with that, again, it's very simple. You're not doing the math. Rhythm's doing it for you, or you can just rely on Rhythm's models and their picks. It's great for picks, props, sides, totals, FCS totals. I know our buddy Adam Rosenberg was like, they were just on an insane heater, smashing these FCS totals. Try it. A 7-day free trial. You're going to like it. No one who's tried the 7-day free trial has complained to me. DMs are open. I'm still waiting to hear that first complaint. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Little concern there might be some sort of vagrant or zombie on top of the building right now. Our HVAC system just kicked on and it smells like hot ass in here. My God.
It does.
It's almost like the time Garth took a shit under the table.
Well, that smelled really bad
in the room. Something is in the room, Sean. It's
sounds like a fucking alien movie.
It's
in the room.
It is. I heard, I felt the wind start to kick up, and my God, all right,
yeah,
Nebraska.
that doesn't smell good. And the air filter kicked on. They must have picked it up.
You got a dead rat in that shit, dude.
Oh, that doesn't smell good.
This
Maybe Spuds took a shit.
This Nebraska logo is the funniest shit I've ever seen.
It's an all-timer.
He's got corn in his pocket.
Yeah, what else are you
to put up with your bullshit? Look at
And he's
there,
holding
huh?
a football. So what's the corn for? Just in case you get hungry on the way to the end zone. Got a little snack. It's very
corn on the cob.
It's very Napoleon Dynamite. All right, Nebraska. 6-6 last year, cursed forever. But they have a quarterback who likes to emulate.
We got to talk about Kramer. I'm sending you a YouTube video.
What do we got? While you're doing that,
if we're talking corn on the cob, there's an invention.
Oh, okay.
Use the butter corn on the cob that I think our audience would be interested in watching. I just sent you the YouTube video.
Do we need audio? No. No.
It's mostly a visual, but you can probably let the audio go.
We'll skip.
I don't really know the audio, honestly.
Yeah, we don't.
It's a visual. It's a visual thing.
All right, let's load this up.
While you're doing that, Colby, big picture for Nebraska. What are we thinking?
Well, I mean, I think you guys caught me on this.
Well, let me hear 7.5 real quick. 7.5 minus 140 over, plus 114 under. 35-1 conference. 630 playoff. 1050 miss. 170-1 is the championship price. And let's see, where did I put it?
So this is a tool you can use for buttering your own corn.
There we go.
I think this is. It's a mannequin hand.
I'm gonna mute this. Hold on. There we go.
Yeah, put the butter right in there. And,
is it real?
When to come?
Oh, it's a real thing that you can buy.
No,
yeah. I don't know if it's something you want, family barbecue. But if
this actor is fucking.
Oh, he's
fantastic.
really selling.
Give the guy.
He's probably the guy who invented it.
Why is
the cob quickie?
He didn't even look at the camera to smile. Nothing. Just
all right. So now that you bring that up, I almost need to go back to. Well, I'm going to bring this back up, but I almost need to go back to this guy. So that you think the
Nebraska mascot uses the cob quickie.
Well, corn on the cob. Also, it would be useful in some other activities if you're into that kind of stuff. And again, I can't. This Nebraska mascot. It almost it's strange that the hair is yellow. It's strange that there's a corn coming out of his overalls, and is this? Do we see them? Is there a corn husker at games that's dressed like this?
Larry the Cable Guy.
He's out of shape. It's not an in shape corn husker. It's a fat corn. I don't believe that he's corn husking. Anyway.
No, I mean, I think you guys had me on VSiN a while ago talking Heisman odds, and I told you I'd like the over on Nebraska and Raiola. I think is worth a shot. Now it seems to be a trendy pick now, but I still think
year two. He kind of got in the mix there for a little bit.
Well, Dana Holgorsen became the OC the final 4 games of the season, and I think that will really pay off this year. Just because I know he knows how to score points. You saw it with Will Grier, as some say.
Yes.
But I really think they'll be able to score some points this year. Now the only problem is you wish they would have been able to keep the DC Tony White who goes off to Florida State. They took some major hits on the defensive side of the ball, but that's Matt Rule's forte. He's supposed to know defense.
But also too, like Matt Rule, look at Temple year 1, 2-10, then 6-6, 10-4, 10-3. Baylor year 1, 1-11, 7-6, 11-3.
Mm-hmm.
He continues to get better. 2023 Nebraska 5-7. Last year 7-6. Like he's slow but surely.
Last year was a little
better.
phony. I mean, you lost to Indiana by 50, but I mean, I do agree that he gets better. But also, let's talk about the real thing here. The fucking schedule is awesome.
But they're also not great at winning the close games.
That's what I'm saying. That if you want to talk about a program that might be jinxed, it might. I like to think. See, Kramer's got his Michigan State. Mel
I mean,
Tucker
they were in the mix at Ohio State there.
But I think they were jinxed because the football gods. They got rid of the option attack, which won them national championships, and I was just uncalled for why they would do that. And ever since then, they've been kind of a forgetful program.
They've lost a lot of 1-score games, which they got to fit. You imagine regression would break eventually, but it was an issue with Scott Frost. Now it's an issue with Matt Rule.
Well, let's talk about the schedule because this thing is pretty fire.
And real quick, you did exclude Matt Rule's NFL records.
Yeah,
okay.
It's a college coach.
Yeah,
I'm just saying he didn't improve in the
NFL.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why he's not in the NFL.
Throwing that out. And are we just going to gloss over the fact that our quarterback is literally doing an impression of Patrick Mahomes?
It is weird. I will totally. I mean, who would defend
like he's
that?
mocking him.
Who's he dating?
I don't. That's true. I haven't gone that deep on Dylan Rail.
I thought you had a fucking file with all their girlfriends.
No, not Dylan yet. I haven't gotten to know him yet. Cincinnati.
It's in Arrowhead Stadium, and I chalked this up before as an easy win, without realizing the defensive hits they lost. I think it might be closer than I thought.
But they're gonna have the crowd there.
Yeah, I think they're gonna win the game, but I do think the game is a little more scarier than I thought maybe 3 months ago. But I'm with you. Give me the Cornhuskers to win the game.
Akron Zips win.
It was non-con's a fucking joke.
Who HCU is that?
Houston Christian. That's the CVS. They're playing CVS.
And then you got Michigan coming to town.
I got them winning it.
Really?
I told you
so
this.
4-0.
I find the Cincinnati game scarier than the Michigan game. Just
maybe
it's
3-1
not at home. Yeah,
right, we'll say 3-1 because maybe they drop Cincinnati, maybe they drop Michigan.
Michigan State at home for a homecoming off the bye.
Winnable.
Then at Maryland, at Minnesota.
That's my first loss.
Okay.
Northwestern at home.
Win.
USC at home.
Win.
At UCLA.
That could be tough.
Bye week at Penn State,
Loss.
Iowa.
Probably another loss, but
you just got them to like schedule. 9 or 10 wins.
Well, I mean, look, they get Michigan in their quarterback's first ever Big Ten road start.
Yeah.
They don't play Ohio State. They don't play Oregon. They don't play Indiana. They don't
miss all.
They don't play Illinois.
They're the Indiana this year.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And they host like any good team they get, with the exception of Penn State, is at home. Michigan, USC, Iowa, all in Nebraska Memorial Stadium.
So a couple nuggets. One, UCLA has a bye going into that game, but UCLA has Ohio State afterwards. I think
UCLA did beat them last year. So, I mean, I just think with Holgorsen, I did not like Marcus Satterfield as an OC. Holgorsen is a guy I trust a lot.
No, we
more.
like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take the over. I can get him to 8.
I think
to Colby's point, all their hard games, with the exception of Penn State, are at home.
Now, if they lose that Cincinnati game, we might have to sweat intensely.
So 1, 2, 3, yeah, four losses feels right.
Yeah, 8-4.
That's with them dropping all the predictable games. Yeah, over. Although it's going to be really annoying when Matt Rule, he'll work it out. He's, like you said, he's a good coach. Last one, which, I mean, how the mighty have fallen. Not, but 3.
Oh, they were so fun.
Whoa, what the?
What is this animal, Colby?
I am. I did not vet this. Northwestern.
It's like, have you ever seen the kids who have the corrective helmets as babies? It looks like it's wearing one of those, but it's a cat holding a football.
This is more student art from the elementary school.
This is
wild.
This is like, hey, you're in the cat reading group. Okay, hey, you guys are special readers. You're in the cat group.
Where the wild things are. There's a weird.
Oh, you're right.
Where
the
wild
foot looks like a wild thing.
If they were playing pickup football but had leather helmets on the island.
Yeah, is that a leather football helmet the cat's wearing, Colby? What's going on there?
Yes, this is from like the 1920s or 30s.
I like the 2 hands on the football.
Yeah, of course. You know, you can't back in those days. You get your ass kicked for doing a drawing without ball security.
And so you're basically saying this predates the car. So the car wash was not a thing. I wonder if squirrels existed yet. What a mighty program that has fallen really on hard times.
But they do have lakeside attractions.
4-8 last year. They are currently without a real stadium, so they're playing on a lacrosse field. 3.5 which is fabulous. And like many bad teams who should go into renovating their stadium during the season, it helps to not have those pesky visitor fans taking over your stadium. 3.5 is the win total, -148 to the over, +120 to the under, 300 to 1 to win the Big Ten, and 80 to 1 to make the playoff, 1,000 to 1 to win the national championship. What is the shamed head coach who oversaw the flying squirrel and car wash up to nowadays?
No, first off, he didn't do shit wrong. Pat
Did he show up anywhere?
No, he's in the middle of suing them.
So he's not coach. He's just chilling.
From what I understand, he's got a great fucking case too. But I mean, I guess.
Oh, of course
see.
he does.
Yeah.
Of course he does.
Yeah, he should be coaching again somewhere. I mean, he's rich though, right?
He doesn't have
he's
to.
A great
but typically,
coach.
these guys they can't quit coaching.
He's a great coach. The world's retarded. Week 1, they're at Tulane. What did you say? 7-point dog.
His trial has a date of November 3rd, by the way. So we'll find out later.
Colby's going to be reporting live from the trial
from Lakeside.
Sorry,
make s'mores.
What were you saying?
9:00 fire. At Tulane, they're 7-point dog. Now hold on, I should key in on this. They brought in. If I remember watching the week 0 game with you guys against Nevada.
Yep.
SMU Nevada. And
you got to add it up, Colby.
SMU was struggling with Jennings, and Preston Stone came off the bench. This is a guy that was a former 5-star recruit, and he won SMU that game. SMU would have not made the playoffs had they lost that game. He comes to Northwestern. That's interesting. When's the last time they had a 5-star quarterback? Maybe never.
Crazy.
Otto Graham.
Well, they have quality quarterback play. It's the last year at the Lake. They were -43 yards per game in conference play, which is usually a sign your wins are going to go down from last year.
Yeah,
usually. I mean, they were 4-8 though, so
which it seems like there's a little bit. It's baked into the numbers, Sean, as they say. Although the juice suggests people are betting the over. That's crazy.
That Tulane game's interesting. They're taking on their former quarterback, Brandon Sullivan.
Revenge game for who? Sullivan, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
but he's at Tulane. It's probably a step up.
Tulane's gonna win. I mean, what do we have a number?
I don't know.
Do we have?
I thought you said 7.
Yeah, I think
I thought you said Tulane -7.
Tulane -7.
That's a tough game.
Yeah, let's say loss.
The Leathernecks is a win.
Yes.
Western Illinois, Oregon at home. I'm going to say that's a loss.
Yes, that would be accurate.
Then they got to buy UCLA at home.
I mean, that's winnable.
Yeah. I feel like I'm going to be slightly more optimistic on UCLA.
ULM winnable.
Yeah. It is their homecoming.
All right, so that's 3. That's
at
3.
Penn State.
Yeah. No, but home to Purdue very winnable.
We have 4.
At Nebraska, no. Bye week at USC, no. Home to Michigan and Wrigley. That's the problem too. They ruined.
Why do they have all these Wrigley?
Because they
games?
said these pussies, these fucking pussies.
Oh, they're not winning.
They said the Lakeside is too cold in November.
We're not. Those are 4
That's
losses.
your advantage, you morons. Gosh, a few years ago they played Ohio State and it was like a hailstorm. Ohio State's passing attack, and you almost won that game. So when you have Michigan and Minnesota coming in, I understand they have better athletes, but if you're right next to the fucking lake and it's that windy, that gives you a better chance to win the fucking game.
Abort, Sean.
Jeez, idiots.
At Illinois, loss.
Yeah,
I don't see 4 wins here. I'm on the other.
I don't either.
They have to beat.
They have to go perfect here. Western Illinois, UCLA, ULM, Purdue.
No, I was gonna say they have to beat 2. They have to UCLA and Purdue. They have to.
Well, let's just start with. Do you think they're winning any of these road games? No. Right. Okay. Then walk through the home.
Maybe Tulane.
So Western Illinois win. ULM win
2.
They need to beat then UCLA and Purdue. They will be favored against Purdue.
Maybe they win 1.
I don't think they'll be favored against UCLA.
Yeah, I don't think they win both. And they're not winning Minnesota at Wrigley. They're not.
I think we might have to go. Well,
I mean, I see a path for 4, but I'm not. I'm just gonna. I don't know.
Under 3.5.
Western Illinois, UCLA, ULM, Purdue.
That's the 4, but the problem is there's not a 5th game just in case. Tulane's your 5th game just in case. But you could be. I mean, if they get to UCLA and they've only won 1 game, you're cooked.
I'll take the under, but I don't feel amazing about it.
You're cooked. Checkmate.
checkmate. Kramer.
Yes.
2 locks in the future for the Big Ten college football preview part 1, part 2 tomorrow night. What do you got here?
Okay. So I think we walked through some pretty interesting logic around so the overs I like are all higher up on the board. Illinois, Iowa, and Nebraska. I do think it's very easy to see a path for 3, maybe 4 teams in the Big Ten. So I'm going to start with the future. I think you got to take one of these teams. Let's go with Nebraska. They have the quarterback with the highest upside. If he really is the guy he's trying to emulate, this could be a pretty fun team this year. I'm going to take the over.
So Nebraska to win the Big Ten 35-1.
Yeah, and to make the playoff plus 630. I think I'll be on a couple of these, and Illinois might be the second one, but give me the over 8.5 wins for the Fighting Illini.
All right,
and then give me the over for Iowa 7.5.
Iowa over 7.5. Yeah, I mean that's
staying optimistic.
Kirk Ferentz, set your watch to it. 2015, last time he only won 7 games. Over 7.5 for Iowa. Indiana's interesting, but everything broke right for them. I do like Cignetti. That's kind of intriguing, but
it's one where you either take the under or you pass, Sean.
Yeah,
sharp handicapper.
I mean, Northwestern should be really bad. I do like the under on Michigan State. Loxley's pretty horrible.
So Maryland would be the almost made the cut.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Maryland under 4.5. I don't think they get it done. And for the future, I'll run it back. Iowa owes us a couple bucks. Iowa to make the playoff at plus 730. Colby, what do you got?
Yeah, it's the one I had. Iowa to make the playoffs plus 730. The lock to me is Nebraska over 7.5 wins. And
I do like that as well.
And I'm gonna lock up Michigan under 9.5 wins.
Ooh.
A lot of times you start a freshman quarterback, you don't hit that mark.
No, they can still be pretty good,
Yeah.
but getting 10-2 with that schedule with all the guys they lost on defense, I think it's a big ask.
So I brought up the loose commandments for college football betting. As of last year, this is what I left myself. Don't lay the points with Narduzzi, fade UVA, and fade Mike Loxley. I also put a note in here to bet on Sam Levitt for the 2025 Heisman.
Ooh, okay.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we got that coming up. We got a bunch of college football conference previews coming up. It is the time. Of course, make sure you that subscribe button. Tell a buddy, get them into the Sports Gambling Podcast, SGPN. Tell them to check out our show, Colby Dant, College Football Experience, 130 plus team previews, every FBS team, a couple of the FCS teams as well. We will be back tomorrow night breaking down the Big Ten Part 2. Shout out to Jake, doing great job getting the Colby, aka Pablo Picasso graphics going. And of course, as always,
thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green. He's Ryan.
I like sexy Picasso.
Kramer, let it ride.
I'm wet.